Hey everyone, Gaijin Goombah here. Well, I received a free copy of Xenoblade Chronicles X to look into, courtesy of Nintendo, and playing that game just after playing Fallout 4, I came to a lot of conclusions about Japanese versus American RPGs that I wanted to share with you guys. In the whole, what I've really noticed when it comes to RPGs is just how divided the genre is becoming comparing Eastern and Western developed role-playing games. I don't personally believe it's a bad thing at the moment, granted the fanbase is fracturing like crazy, but I think the reasoning behind it is purely cultural. When it comes to RPGs of the West, the most critical things seem to be player control of the entire environment. Fallout 4 does that by letting you create multiple bases, customizing your armor, weapons, letting you create all kinds of food and chems. You even have a lot of choices in dialogue to shape how the story moves and changes. I feel this is reflective of our nature as Americans, and even Westerners in general, for the desire to express our individuality through all things. We build the bases, guns, armor, and relationships we want. The game just provides us with an outlet in order to do those things. However, RPGs of the East are taking a completely different form. JRPGs nowadays focus more on appearance, story, and customization of numeric stats. In a way, it takes control away from the player in favor of a more carefully, beautifully crafted cinematic story. For example, Xenoblade Chronicles X is beautiful, and I really mean beautiful. To think the Wii U could pull this kind of graphical quality was beyond me when I first put the game in. And while a little too anime looking for my taste, the character models are richly detailed, the environments look fantastic, and the world is populated with a lot of unique flora and fauna that gives the game its own unique look. The game is also incredibly story-driven. The first hour of the game introduces you to a massive world to inevitably run around in for hours on end. It does so not really by the player's involvement, but rather cinematically introducing each character and location in a carefully scripted manner. Finally, Xenoblade Chronicles X, like many modern JRPGs, uses an incredibly deep system of stats that help shape your character. Everything from gear, to your mech, to your arts, to even combat calls that alter your range and close combat capabilities. Let's just say it's easy to get lost in all of these menus. While you can move around freely during combat, it doesn't seem to change the situation much. The game's combat still feels very turn-based and controlled based on stat optimization. In my opinion, I believe the above-mentioned characteristics of JRPGs, including Xenoblade Chronicles X, reflects Japan's culture of visual and executional perfection. Firstly, no matter how far back you end up going in history, Japan has been a country that has always placed a huge deal of importance on appearance. How you are seen in society is what matters most. This explains the incredible focus on visuals when it comes to Japanese-developed RPGs of today, with Xenoblade Chronicles X being no exception. Lastly, when it comes to popular video games of Japan, many of the newcomers focus on control and execution versus reactionary gameplay. Rhythm games are king in Japan, and these games are not about reaction, but control and practice to execute a high score that is out of this world. Even action games, which you'd think would be more reactionary than controlled, succumb to controlled execution in the form of a grade scale that reflects how your combos were executed, how you finished off foes, etc., etc. Admittedly, it's still a reactionary game. However, the game will penalize you if you are not controlled and calculated in your actions. JRPGs reflect this in their increasingly complex character stat building systems. It's the responsibility of the player to optimize their character stats to overcome obstacles instead of a more raw reaction to said obstacle. Now again, this isn't to say that one RPG system is better than the other. It really is a matter of preference. But that's the thing. After playing both Fallout 4 and Xenoblade Chronicles X so closely together, it became incredibly apparent that the two games reflected the preference of the domestic audience more so now than it ever has before. I suppose such a conclusion shouldn't be all that surprising. After all, a domestic audience will typically be what a developer will create for, and their experience in developing RPGs will be based upon their own established culture. I guess my biggest concern is that there is a massive divide now when it comes to fans of RPGs. Are you in the camp of action and player choice, or are you in the camp of stat building and visuals? It's kind of sad that games are developing this fissure, but I suppose as the development of technology advances, it's inevitable. But what do you guys think? Are RPG fans becoming fractured based on domestic, culturally minded developers, or is there something deeper going on? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're looking for more culture and gaming, click that little eye at the top right of the video to check out more of my works. And don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date on every new entry on this channel. But until next time everyone, this is Gaijin Goombah signing out.